Okay. Let's do. So we did Home. We did 1943, and now I want to try Space Explorers. It's not by BBC, but it is something. It's in the ISS again, but I think this one is a little bit more forgiving, or it's not going to try to actually kill you. But I guess we'll see. I fucking love the ISS. Space is so cool. I want when I was younger, like 19, 20, I wanted to be an astronaut when I was in college because I was also doing welding, and I was like, shit, they're gonna need welders in space, right? They're gonna need welders in space. This is the ISS experience. Let's see. Spacewalk, home planet, episode 4 expand, episode 3 unite, episode 2 advance, episode 1 adapt. Oh, that is so cool. The journey begins. Okay, so let's go through episode 1. Come on. Here we go. Dream. A new crew of astronauts arrive on board in Internationals. All right, let's try stream. I don't want to download it. We're going to see if my internet is good enough to handle this, and if like everything else is good enough too. So I was thinking of doing my like VTuber model, but like I'm walking around and my ass is towards the camera, so I don't know if you want my ass talking. So I'll just be talking shit out my mouth. So fucking see what it's actually like in the ISS. That's cool. A little weird, but cool. It's not doing the full rotations, doing half rotations. I don't like it. Or maybe it is my computer's slow. Okay, we're loading. That's an antler. That is not a moose. That is an elk. Which is sad. I really like the guy that I was with in the other one. Whoa. Hello there. Oh yeah, I can't move. Okay. Everything you are about to see was filmed in space aboard the International Space Station. Oh, this is all 3D, like 360 video? Are you kidding me? I can't move, but I can watch. Okay, I'm sitting down for this one. Hold on. Excuse me, boys. Let me just grab a seat because I want to enjoy this. Looking beautiful. Are there like? I see someone. It's an alien. I knew Alien vs. Predator was real. I knew I shouldn't have come on the ISS. Oh, hi. There are lights. This is amazing. Look at that. I wonder what it would be like to really experience.
Good morning, we've got everything configured on the ground. And good morning. Expedition 58, we are ready to begin.
Hey, how's it going?
When you sit on the launch pad, at that moment, you have to be at peace with everything in your life. You want to make sure that everything's in order, and that people you love know that you love them, and people that you've wronged know that you're sorry. I was just
astronaut Expedition 58.
It is the most rawly human that I've ever felt. And now you're wearing clothes that have been picked out for you. You're going on the 6-month trip, and you're not even taking a toothbrush with you.
So my question is this like being used as a social experiment now? Because I know they're doing like scientific stuff up there too, but like...
When we got to orbit, it was nighttime, and all I could see was blackness. And as we're flying, I remember something catching my eye, and I look out, and I see this thin blue line. You can just tell that it's curved.
That's
And
the
I
Earth.
realized I was seeing my first sunrise from space. You're there.
Oh.
You're just there. And the joy is overwhelming.
Oh, yeah, then you can see everything. Oh man, that is breathtaking. I swear I'm say so. I would, if space was I would date space if I could. Just like the concept of the stars.
Good morning, sir. Good morning.
Gorgeous.
Before
ISS
being an
food
astronaut, I was working as a
intake
family physician up in the Arctic in Canada. So I learned there the art of being self-reliant and you're kind of responsible for everything. It's a bit like here in space. Between myself and my crew members, there's nobody else to turn to if we have a problem.
You're French. Fucking tabernacle. Cool on you for being in the space station. That's awesome.
A lot of the research we do up here is related to the way humans adapt to life in microgravity and in the radiation environments and the isolation of a spacecraft, so that one day we can push the frontier even further and go to Mars.
We wanted to verify the stowage did not interfere with the airflow from the duct.
And it's mainly about learning how to live in space with our organism that has evolved on Earth over millions of years in the presence of gravity. And when you remove that, everything changes. It affects everything in your body. And it affects everything in your body in a way that resembles normal, real disease.
Really? That's so fascinating. Jacuzzi!
Adapting to life in space. It's been a process. Got here initially, I was crashing everywhere. I was losing everything because everything floats away from you if you don't put it in your pocket or use Velcro to tie down or maybe an elastic bungee. And I was looking at our colleagues who had been here several months, wondering how can they be so efficient and so in control of their movements. Well, lo and behold, after a couple of weeks, I found myself surprisingly to be very efficient now moving around. So your body can adapt to this strange environment of microgravity.
Oh, that is so fucking dope.
And then there's a strange mental disorientation that takes place because of the fact that we have 16 sunrise and 16 sunsets a day. It's kind of hard to know what time it is rather than looking at your watch. So I had to adapt to that new way of tracking time just by events as opposed to this sense of lighting outside that we're used to living on Earth.
It makes sense because I mean we do everything by the sunrise and sunset. We work during the day, sleep during night. What do you do in microgravity when you only have LED lights to like basically tell you what the hell's going on? And they got cameras! Oh, it's so cool! Oh, I fucking love it. Oh, you see, look, our feet are there. I wish I could see my hands so I could point.
Some of the coolest days that I've had are the days where I go through and I do all these tasks and I get to the end of the day and I realize I haven't thought about floating at all. It's become my new normal. We can flip from module to module and we can be upside down. It doesn't really matter because we've created this now 3D model of the inside of the space station in our minds that we can navigate just as easily as you can navigate walking from your house to your parking spot.
Hey, David, if we could borrow your time for a couple moments, we need your help.
That makes me wonder, do you need a good cardiovascular like system to be able to pump your blood through? Because I mean, there's a thing called varicose veins where your veins bulge.
We
'cause you
exercise
don't
every
have
single
heart.
day on space station.
Or would that matter?
Even on
'cause
the ground, I'm pretty physically fit, but there are days where I just don't feel like going to the gym, and I just don't think that you experience that here as much. Your body craves that exercise and that weight.
No
When
shit.
astronauts first started flying long-duration missions, astronauts were losing the same amount of bone density in a month that an osteoporotic 80-year-old woman was losing in a year. And we had to come up with a countermeasure. We talk about the International Space Station as a proving ground for future deep space exploration. Now, imagine if we had skipped this proving ground and we sent people to Mars and then we discovered it and we couldn't fight against it.
But I do agree. I do agree. Can I like go a little bit back? Yeah. I do agree because I don't know much about space. I'm not an expert in space whatsoever, but looking at it through a lens of realism and what I've seen like online and stuff and what other people have said, she's right. People do lose bone density. I don't know why. Probably because of microgravity and our body is like adapting to it, but like or our body doesn't have what it gets on Earth, which is why we don't have good bone density in microgravity that we would on like Earth gravity. Though, so it kind of makes me wonder because I'm pretty sure, but we wouldn't know until we actually until astronauts or something went all the way to Mars, because Mars I think is 0.8 of Earth's gravity or heavier. So I'm wondering if we go to a heavier planet, would we get thicker boys and thicker girls? Because I mean, you have more weight, you're doing stuff in higher gravity, which means you would get used to it. Would that mean that it would be would the thick Mars boys be able to play in Earth basketball? Or like sorry, of a planet with higher gravity, would they be able to play basketball, or would they be sought after for basketball because they would technically be able to jump higher, or sorry, not technically, theoretically be able to jump higher and like run farther and harder? They would be the army people technically because they're more stockier, they're more built because the higher gravity means you're working with higher weights at the beginning, and then the higher the weight you'd go from there is, it's just like it's like saying, okay, so we're on Earth's gravity, this is normal gravity, let's times two it and get you to start from the basics again and see how you do. So everything's going to be twice the weight. Your bones are going to have to compensate for that. Your bone marrow will probably have to get thicker or something like that. I'm not even sure about bone marrow, your muscle fibers and everything too. It would also depend on the composition of the atmosphere. If you're able to make it a pure Earth like nitrogen and oxygen rich air, or if you need to like mix it with the Mars or the Jupiter air or something. Probably not, because you would die, because I'm pretty sure Jupiter has sulfate or something, some kind of like 80% sulfate or like gaseous bad shit that would kill you immediately, if not like cripple you in fairly quickly. But this is interesting to think about, because if you worked out, would that mean Vegeta and Goku's training exercises in 2 or 50 or 100 times gravity, would that actually work? Because people on YouTube are like, well, it'd break your bones and stuff, but we don't know until we try, because like we don't know what the effects of double gravity and stuff on the whole body every day would be like. Would you actually like pass out and suffocate because your lungs can't fill or anything? Would your lungs compensate by getting thicker, more robust? Would everything get like a little bit thicker to compensate for? Because humans are incredibly adaptable. We just need time to adapt. But would that mean that like our bodies would be like, oh shit, we need this to do this? Are our bodies like already genetically modified, or sorry, not modified, like genetically capable of doing this stuff? Again, it's a flight of fancy. So most of the shit I'm talking about, I have no idea about any of this. I don't know the scientific ramifications of that, and I don't know anything about like, if this happened, this would happen kind of thing. Because I'm a VTuber, I'm a welder, I'm a tradesman by trade. I like break shit and I build stuff up. I like steel. I like metal. If I could, I would probably be part of the Adeptus Mechanicum and take my flesh out and make it out of steel and synthetics, because that would be much better than the fleshy human parts we have. But that's just me being weird. Let's continue.
We do 2 hours of exercise a day. 1 hour of cardiovascular type exercise, and then an hour of weightlifting or resisted exercise.
Oh, that's cool. No, please. Thank you.
To keep your upper body, your back, your spine, everything strong. And when you come back to Earth, you still know how to walk. In my case, I have young children. I hope that I can come back to Earth and be able to carry them on my shoulders still.
And as you guys remember, this is a 50-minute exercise pre-freeze, 10 cycles of 5 minutes.
Oh, that's cool.
I prepared for this space flight by training to be an Army officer. I've been in just about 20 years now.
I can
I
tell
spent
you
15
have the
months
haircut.
in combat flying Kiowa Warrior helicopters.
That's awesome. I salute you.
15 months in
Congrats.
Iraq will teach you how to work in a team whose lives are in your hands. It teaches you how to not get complacent, how to recognize complacency. It teaches you how to operate in an environment where
Why am
you're
I
there
looking at
for
her
so
feet?
long
That is so cool.
that you have to be able to relax. But there always has to be part of you that's ready to surge. You can't work so hard that you're exhausted at the end of the day and you have nothing left to give, because at any moment in Iraq, flying in a helicopter, and here on the International Space Station, we can get a single alarm and suddenly we're not watching a movie on a Friday night with our crew. We're actually getting on our vehicle and flying back to Earth.
No shit.
The most dangerous thing would be to be hit by a meteorite, lose our air. It could cause a fire or a toxic chemical being released inside the station. That would also be a disaster.
Caller, we'd like to talk to you about the answer. You've been monitored for drift out.
Response to the other 3 remaining.
Good evening, Expedition Fatigue. Happy Hunter's Day, and we'll give you a call here shortly.
Thank you for everyone for the work over these last 100 days.
If I could, I would 100% work at NASA, or it'd be nice if Canada had our own space program, because I feel like
Path to coming to
feel like
space
we
is
have all this
really
resource.
arduous. The learning to live on station has been a process, several weeks to get physically adapted, to understand how this place works, to be able to be functional. And then yesterday, 3 new crew members arrived. Our good friends, Nick, Christina, and Alexei.
We were following along.
This is a wheel that turns. Crews pass the baton to each other, keeping this amazing outpost of humanity functional and productive.
We'll have further words after the crew welcome ceremony.
after 3 months, McLean and David are joined by the crew of Expedition 59, arriving on board the MS-12 spacecraft. Oh, that is so cool. So every time they get more people on, it turns into Expedition 59, 60, etc., etc. Oh. Oh, this is gorgeous. Look at this. I'm just going in circles. Oh, yeah. Okay.
I can't believe this is happening. I'd made it. I'd made it for myself. I'd made it for my family. I'd made it for all the team that had trained us to get there.
After we had gotten into zero G in our little Soyuz, then there's a few steps the
Hey,
spacecraft
Christina
goes
Koch.
to before
Okay.
it orients itself for executing the burn maneuvers that'll help us rendezvous with station. And then I opened the window, and out there, just almost everywhere, was the Earth. And it was
Yeah.
so bright and so beautiful, and it
You
was
have
just
the big
such
thing
a
on the bottom.
perfect sphere. And I said, oh my gosh.
It's not
I
flat.
said that out loud into the comm system, and then I realized, oh, no, everything's fine. It's just Earth.
Hey, quick question. Can we have you verify that the new crew has already made it through Node 1?
Oh, this is gorgeous. Oh, look, there's a camera. There's something. Hi, who are you?
When that hatch opened, felt
You're a
very much
laptop.
like getting to see some long-lost friends that you haven't seen in a while. I've spent a lot of time in Star City training side by side with David and being able to get to know him. And Christina and I are classmates, so we've been at NASA together from day one, 6 years now.
I fucking love it.
It takes a lot to get here. In the big
love
picture,
it.
I think that the astronauts got it easy. The personal sacrifices that are made aren't the people that are flying in space. It's
Sacrifice.
all of the families that are on the ground. It's the families that have to sit there and watch you launch into space,
This is nice.
wondering if it's going to go okay.
Is this like a
It's the-
recruitment video?
it's the
Because you got
families
me.
that
You got me. I
have
want
to
it.
suffer your absence because you're training abroad for most of the 2 years leading up to your launch. It's the families that are in this state of constant vigilance, while you're in space, knowing that we could have a serious emergency at any time. And so we're always at the tip, they're always in the front of their mind where they're thinking about us and our safety. And that's a strain, that's a burden, and that's a sacrifice that maybe they didn't sign up for. And I only hope that I can communicate to my wife and my boys the importance of the mission and to try to share some of this experience with them.
With you on one, Christina.
You know how cool it would be to die
It really
in space?
was an amazing experience coming through the hatch
Actually, it
for
would
the
suck,
first
but,
time.
like-
And one of the reasons is that we've been training to be a part of life up here for so long. So it's a bit like walking into a movie set. All the movies you've seen about living life up here, all the mock-ups we've been in on the ground when we train, they all came to life. So I think that was really the most overwhelming experience, was seeing this place come to life and that it actually exists and that I was now inside it for real.
God,
Good
yeah.
morning, Christina. Good morning, Mike. I am with you. Sorry for the delay there.
The first morning I woke up on the ISS, I just remember busting out in a huge grin when I did realize where I was and that I was floating.
Oh, the stretchums! The stretchums!
Really, the only difference between like laying down and being asleep and not being asleep is you're still floating, but you just open your eyes.
Yeah, that makes sense, because you still have the sensation of floating. There's nothing stopping that, and it's just like, oh, oh, that's gorgeous. I'm glad that the streaming is working well, because I really didn't want to like download the file, but oh my god, that's amazing. Yeah, no, 100%. If I ever had the chance, they were like, hey, do you want to go to ooh, god, I need to scratch my head. Okay. Yeah, you want to go to the ISS to like do some stuff? 100%. I'm 100% doing that. And I would stream from the ISS or something. I don't think I'd be able to, because they have like scientific equipment and all there. It's not like we can just bring a gaming PC, hook it up to Starlink, and fucking. That would be cool though. That would be really cool. I could say it's the first VTuber stream from space. Now all I need is $10 billion, a small loan of $10 billion, Elon Musk's or fucking Amazon Bezos's fucking spacecraft, and start make like a little fucking place out there. And just get a computer all set up and have like a Starlink a fucking satellite out there to get Starlink. I don't even think I'd be able to, because I'd literally be like I'd be in space on the same level. We'd be 250 kilometers in the air. Like, fucking Christ. But like, oh, that's so cool. Okay, I'm gushing. Could you imagine that? VTuber streams in space. Hello, everybody. I'm in orbit around Earth, currently over India, and today we are gonna play fucking. I don't even know if I'd play games. I'd just be like, hey, how's it going? Could I get service in space? That's the real question. I don't think so, because everything is on the ground, and I'd be going too fast for like the thing to lock. And it's not like I can just have a gigantic Ethernet cable. Oh, god damn, it's so cool. All right, let's continue.
My sort of bedroom on station, what we call our crew quarters, is actually tucked into the ceiling. So, to get into it, I would go like this, and then...
Ah, god damn it. Every time I pause, it has to
go up into the ceiling, into my crew quarters. So that was obviously very disorienting my first couple days, when I would come out of my crew quarters and have to figure out which way I was pointing and which way my feet should go and whatnot. So I actually just memorized the handrails that I had to go to, one in front of the other, and then knew that if I just did that, no matter how tired I was, no matter whether it was dark in the middle of the night or not, I would get to be feet down in the lab on my way to the most important place on station, the bathroom, should I need to go there in the middle of the night. So, you start out just kind of memorizing what you have to do, and then pretty soon your mind wraps itself around what's going on here, and you can just kind of feel your way around.
Yo, I didn't even think about that. How do you poop in space? How do you poop in space? I don't want to Google that yet. I'm not ready. I'll never be mature enough for that.
The net is in front of the microscope, so we don't want to touch that rack.
Cevis is on motion isolators, vibration isolators, so we don't want to grab that, which is
They're so perfect though.
super tempting. They are. And you want to keep your legs together, and if you happen to kick something, I will say that turn around and look at what you kicked, because it's probably important.
Okay. Make sure it's not floating away.
Yes, and the sooner you can remap everything to be 3D, the quicker you'll be able to move through here. And your feet, it might be. It actually will happen quicker than you think, and you'll kind of remap everything in your mind, and your feet will automatically find a handrail kind of wherever you go. And I will tell you this, if your feet are stable, the rest of you is stable. So whatever you're working on, if you're struggling too much, just get your feet stable, but make sure it's not on a cable or anything else important. I've definitely looked down and been stabilizing myself on a computer cord, which doesn't last very long.
All right, cool. The senior crew shares tons of advice every day. In fact, I would say if they haven't gotten sick of giving us advice and help, it's only because they're the most patient people on or off the planet.
That is cool.
Station Houston updating. We did fire disrupt to 2001.
That was right when I
What's the alarm?
We've had to respond to a couple pretty high-level technical issues. One category of those have been false fire events. Getting anything?
And with the they was like, can you take me to see if the security was around T2?
You seen anything there? So we've had instances where a smoke detector has gone off and declared that there's a fire in some area. And we've had to respond to it, obviously, as if it is a real alarm. And each time that happens, you go into a heightened state of response, and you kind of start clicking on all gears, and your training kicks in.
With that, yeah, we are ready to stand out from the fire does.
Having these bigger events happen is a good reminder of how much we can rely on each other and rely on our training. So it's nice to see the team click into that gear and to know that we can respond in that way when we need to.
T2 at the time, and the T2 has just ramped up from 6 miles an hour to 10 miles an hour, and we have the upper. We copy that couple. We are working on the T2 story, so we'll get to that as soon as we can.
That's cool. Hi guys.
Anne and David and Christina and I, we had never done a spacewalk. So 1 week after we arrive and we're up to a full crew, the four of us have never been on orbit and witnessed somebody doing an EVA or witnessed helping prepare somebody to do an EVA. All we had was the training we brought with us on the ground. And so in that regard, it's four rookies up here trying to perform an EVA. And then you start to rely on each other, and we're double checking, and we're starting to really click as a crew, and it was just a really exciting time to step straight into a spacewalk like that.
Good evening, Expedition 59. Great work today. You had a very busy day, and it's been a really busy week, so great job across the board.
I like that it comes back here to check this out. Oh, we're over in Antarctica. I believe that's Antarctica.
I really wish
sorry,
everybody
the
on Earth
Arctic.
could have the perspective that we have living up here.
Oh, tell you what.
We are united by the dream of exploration and accomplishment, rather than being united by fear. If we have a common fear or a common end, that unfortunately is a strong uniting factor. But spaceflight shows us what we can accomplish when we are united by something other than fear. When we delve into that deep part of our human spirit that wants to explore and that wants to accomplish for all of mankind.
Agreed.
Airlock Houston on 2, no response required. Hope you have a wonderful Friday night. It was a pleasure working with you.
Guys, thank you for this exciting experience.
Living on
It's-
space station with 5 other people is really like
3,
living
4,
in a
5,
small
6.
family.
Oh, yeah, 5
You
of
can't help but feel like these are your brothers and sisters.
How do you do laundry?
One of the really neat things about being up here are the nights that we just kind of say, hey, let's just get together and let's not talk about work. Let's pull out some of our food that maybe came up on care packages, maybe the food that we don't normally eat. And I find that that time is really meaningful. These are the other people that will, for the rest of our lives, be the only ones that really understand what we went through.
Oh yeah,
Maybe a little
fake
lemon.
lighters. You can't have a real lighter.
Sweet at the end of it.
Oh, mint lifesaver.
Whoa.
Crazy with it. There might be something
I
there.
am all
Might be
for
like
it.
space.
Kind of like brie and chutney.
That's a good combo. All right. Who's gonna try that one?
Oh, the little everything is
Real high, though.
velcroed.
It's gonna be tough to like do a trick.
I'm just gonna.
There are some French restaurants where that is actually clean.
I'm gonna hold the shrimp and take the olive off.
There's no way that goes.
Watch the shirt. Precious few.
Rare shirt.
Oh, you got it. Round two.
Yes. Well done. That's awesome. That is awesome.
We really are like fish in an aquarium.
Oh, I love it. Oh my God, this is amazing.
Thanks to the International Space Station, we have really solved a big fraction of the problems we need to solve before we can venture deeper into the solar system. We're more than just going to space for a dangerous trip like we used to. Now we come to space station and we live here. That's the mental step that I find most surprising in myself. I realize that after a few weeks here, this is my home. I can be productive. I can function. I can communicate the experience. That power of adaptation is one of the most beautiful aspects, of course, of the human mind. Right now, space station, we're camping in our backyard. If we move to the moon, that's like camping on a little mountain an hour's drive away. But our Everest, our big ambition is Mars.
Oh, that's so
Salut Véronique.
cool.
Bonsoir maman.
Oh.
C'est déjà la fin de la journée ici. OK. J'ai parlé au garçon hier qui était chez Marc. Il était vraiment trop content pour me parler. Oh, je vois les lumières d'Afrique du Sud. Les lumières des villes d'Afrique du Sud, là. On va passer le cap de Bonne-Espérance.
Oh, that's
On
awesome.
devine ouais, les lueurs vertes à l'horizon. On s'approche du monde des aurores australes.
So they gotta learn English to come aboard? I guess that makes sense. I guess. I mean... Oh my God, that is awesome. Does that mean like...
To see our planet as a one beautiful, fragile spacecraft carrying all humans, it is slowly, day by day, changing me. I can feel it.
Uh-huh.
When you see everything that you've ever known and that's ever been important to you, you get this profound sense that the world is small, we are all reliant on one another, and we're all in this together.
The journey continues in episode 2.
Astronauts Anne McLean, David St. Jacques, Nick Hu, and Christina Koch. Like Heckler and Koch. Written and directed by Felix Lejeunesse and Paul Raphael. I'm pretty sure I butchered the Felix's last name, and I apologize. Produced by Felix and Paul Studios in association with Time Studio. They did it with Time Studios. That's really cool. That's dope as shit. Executive producers Stephanie Reed Tewitt, Jonathan Woods, Mia Trams, Claudia Pratt, Ian Offrey, and Ryan Something. Producers, Matthew Dumont, Sinan Saber, and Sailor Productions. Oh, and Line Productions, Sailor Productions, that's nice. I have no idea who those are. VR technology platform, Felix and Paul Studios, that makes sense. And then Z-Cam, oh, let's see, I knew it. They were probably using a 360 cam, that's cool. Payload and delivery, etc. Headspace Studio, immersive sound and music. Oh, that's awesome. Frederick Begin. Kind of wish I continued doing music. Would have loved to have done this, but like, you know, produced with the participation of the ISS, U.S. National Laboratory, NASA, Canadian Space Agency. Oh, we do have a space agency. Europe, Japanese, and something else. That's awesome. LG, KDDI, don't know what that is. China Telecom and 5G. Hello. Interesting, interesting. Okay. I sure want to exit the application. Yes, I do. That was fucking awesome. Of time. I am out of time, sadly, and I will have to hop off so I can get ready to get picked up, do my haircut, and then hop back on later with another streamer. I'm not sure if we're going to stream it or not, but if we do, I'll be back. We're going to be playing Dead by Daylight. If not, then, you know, have fun, have a good day. Sad to see you go. Luna's in the corner. Hi, Luna.